What's up, family? Gerald the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Let the King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to the Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Back on the Bossman Show with Columbia head coach Kevin Hovde on the Bossman Show with Columbia Lions out of the Ivy League now. Kevin, good to talk to you, man. How life up there in New York, man?
Oh, thank you so much for having me, man. It's great to be here. Great to be back in New York, and just really excited.
Man, I can ask you, how crazy was it being like trying to be with Florida, compete for a championship, and do Columbia Lion work on the side while you're trying to win that championship? Like, how much of that pulling double duty was for you, man?
Yeah, man. It's I was definitely doing two jobs. And it was unique because I was announced as the head coach at Columbia a couple weeks before our season at Florida ended. So trying to communicate with my guys up here at Columbia and build relationships with them while also, doing my best at Florida during our tournament run was definitely a busy time, but, both of them were great things. So very, very appreciative.
No doubt, man. I can sit here before we got started here, full circle for you. You was a Columbia's assistant already, and now you're coming back, and now to be the head coach. And I'm going to say, the staff you had when you was there was crazy. The head coach staff you had when you was there the first time, man. All you head coaches from that staff was pretty crazy, but it's cool to see what you've done. Man, now you're back.
Yeah. It's really something that's unique and to Columbia, and obviously Coach Kyle Smith was the head coach at that time, and I think we had like 6 guys that went on to be head coaches that are now coaching Division I programs, and obviously Todd Golden, Mike Magpio just got the Fordham job, John Jakes, John Anderjak, all those guys are with us, and then the best one is one of the best ones is Kobe Altman as well, as president of the GM of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was an assistant at Columbia for 2 years under Coach Smith as well. So it's just amazing, really unique, and something we're really proud of. And I'm very proud to be able to come back and kind of reconnect all those guys back.
And how cool is it for you to come back to a place that you kind of already know? So you kind of know the lay of the land already, and you know people that probably still work there for your time there. So how easy this transition has been for you, knowing that you know the people that's already there?
Yeah. I think it's a huge advantage, and just coming into obviously a new role, and the athletic director at Columbia, Peter Pilling, was here my last 2 years as an assistant here. So I had a relationship with him and have stayed connected with him even in my time away from Columbia. So that's a huge advantage. And then a lot of the people that work in the department, and obviously people that really care about the program, I already had relationships with, which is certainly a big advantage.
And 100%. And talk about this for your guys, man. Going to Columbia, being in New York, the connection that they can make off the court, because we all know basketball going to stop for us all eventually one day. But those connections you make it being in New York City, have a Columbia education, how that can really help them after basketball once it's bouncing for those guys who play for you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's a really important part of it, and obviously you have Columbia, which most people know is one of the best schools in the world and the Ivy League brand. But being in New York City does make us unique compared to the other Ivy League schools, because I think the one of the best things about it is the actual basketball alums that stay in the city and are building their careers in the city, are really connected to our program just because they're kind of an arm's length away. And that's a great thing for our guys in our program, because they're going to kind of know these guys that came before them and have better relationships with them. They come back to games, all that stuff. So I think the immediate network of basketball guys in the city is the best thing. It's a great advantage for us and something that we really have to tap into.
You know what's unique about the area, the Tri-State area, is all those D1 schools and D2 schools in the area. Think about just how the basketball hub of New York is, and the Tri-State area, Connecticut and New Jersey. All these top flight schools, D1, D2, are right there close together. That little area of the world up there, man.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it's super unique, and I think it's a great thing, and we need to get more local games as well on our schedule against the other New York teams, home and homes, neutral site games. Just because it's New York City basketball, it's the best. People care about it, and especially you got to do well and be competitive, but they'll be really supportive if you can get it going, and it's just a great platform that we have to be able to take advantage of.
No doubt. And I'll ask you this, Coach, man, being in Columbia, how does non-conference scheduling goes for you? Do you still play those bye games, or you can just pretty much do what you want to and then try to get Power Fives to play you or Power Fours or mid-majors to play you? So how does scheduling work at that level in the Ivy League?
Yeah, we'll play a couple games. We need to raise a little bit of money, so we'll play a couple games on the road against a couple high majors, and then a lot of good local home and home games, and a couple where we have to get on a plane. So, I think we need to play a great schedule. Obviously, we have to prepare ourselves for the Ivy League, which is really a mid-major plus league, just analytically. So, the schedule is something that I think could be a great advantage for us. One thing that makes it difficult is there's only 14 Ivy League games because it's a true round robin schedule. So those 14 games, they're taking place in January, February, March, and the rest of your games you got to get in before conference play. So, we have to get a lot of non-conference games in November and December, compared to if you were playing in the SEC, there's 18 conference games, so you don't have to play as many. So it's just a little bit unique that way.
100%. Don't you all play on Friday, Saturdays on those back-to-back class? That's something you all do as well in the Ivy League. I think I'm correct on that.
Yeah, so it used to be that the whole season was like that. So you'd play 6 back-to-backs in a row. Now it's not quite the same. You still play, I think 3 back-to-back weekends, and the rest of the games are not back-to-back. So it's a little lighter than it used to be as far as the back-to-backs, but still they have a few of those traditional back-to-back games, which makes the league unique.
100%. And talk about conditioning wise for your guys to prepare for that. I know in the NBA, I'm running off a lot. So I see on second out back to back, even the NBA guys, their legs are tapping. If it gets to out of hand in third or fourth quarter, they'll just wave the white flag. So how is it to make sure the guys are conditioned to deal with the back-to-back, so they're with the white flag on a Saturday game because legs are tapped out on you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I was here as an assistant, we somehow got through. As I said, it was 6 in a row. So the recovery is super important, obviously. And when you're at home, it's easier. Obviously, the home back-to-backs when you're sleeping in your own bed and your training room and that stuff. On the road, it's a little more difficult. You got to get a little more creative when you got a bus ride and sleeping in hotels and that stuff to make sure the guys are ready for the next day. But it's really, it's like a conference tournament style a little bit. And, it's going to be the scouting as well you're going to be on a shorter scout for the second game. So all those things come into play, and you got to do a great job with it as coaches. And, hopefully they're prepared. And obviously you got to be really tough to play on a second night and be able to push through physically as well. So all things that are challenges for us for sure.
Now, during the practice week, do you kind of work and stuff in practice to kind of prepare for that second game? Because really
Yeah.
can't really have a walkthrough for it really already you want to, depending on this is a Friday game with overtime or something. So you kind of build in things in drill wise and you practice plan to say, okay, this is what we'll see on Saturday, but we need to do it, but we focus on fire at the same time as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be really important. I think most of the time is going to go into trying to win the first game, but I think you do need to do some things to make sure they're prepared for the second game, as far as like maybe going through some things earlier in the week or whatever that is for the second game. That way, when you're putting out the scouting report, for the next game, there's a few things that are already in their minds where they kind of understand, on the front end what we're getting into. So that'll definitely be something that we'll have to schedule out. It's a little bit like going into like an NCAA tournament weekend, right? Where you're just, you have to win the first game, but the coaching staff will be ready for the second game, and you're trying to make sure your guys kind of understand that if you can win, that there's another game to prepare for, and you want to make sure they're ready to go.
No, 100%. And I talk about this, Kevin, this for your team is the health piece of it with the recovery, the prehab and the rehab, and the eating the right way, the sleep. I think I know I didn't do it when I was playing. I'm guilty of it, but getting educating guys on trying to sleep the right way, eat the right way, prehab and rehab. So knowing what you have to play from November to March and want to play into March, that you want to be healthy in this. And right now, the time to condition yourselves for that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's really important. And that's something that should be an advantage for us here at Columbia because, again, you have the guys on the team generally are going to be really high achieving guys, right? On and off the court, Ivy League guys. So I think as far as the nutrition, taking care of your body and strength and conditioning stuff, I think we can tap into that with our guys here. And I think they're I think just a little like interested in that stuff and kind of understand it and we'll really do what we ask. So I think all those things need to be good advantages for us as far as making sure they're eating the right way, approaching things the right way, taking care of their bodies. We can do that and we need to.
And as we head into the fall here, how much will you let them just play to kind of see what you have, kind of mix and match, see what you have? Because I know
Oh, yeah.
college basketball, a lot of times people don't play enough, but you really want to see what you have because with you being a first year head coach, new team. So before you implement just the technical stuff of the schemes, you want to maybe when they get back in August, play some for a few weeks to kind of see what you have there.
Yeah, for sure. No, we have always played a lot in every program that I've been a part of, starting back here, but also, at Florida, and that'll be a huge part of practice. I think we need to be on the court with the guys for sure as much as possible. But 4-on-4 and 5-on-5 is going to be a huge part of that, right? To, as you said, kind of see what you have competitively, talent wise, and all those things, and also see who's picking up the schemes and the stuff that we're implementing really well. So. Yeah, I mean, our I would say our practice structure is definitely heavily lean towards playing more than drills or anything like that.
Amen. I love your practices. I would love them.
Yeah,
I would love them because I hate all them drills. This is some playing stuff.
right.
That's what we do. We play ball, not drills.
No
But
question.
let me ask you this, man. For you, at what point in your career did you decide you want to get into coaching? I know my dad's a high school coach in Atlanta. And I told the radio over after I was done playing, I just want to do the radio. But I didn't want to get into coaching. But for you, what kind of made you want to get into coaching? What kind of triggered you to say, "Hey, this is my life journey and my path"?
Yeah, I really credit my college coach, Chris Mooney, and my experience at Richmond. I feel like after my freshman year at Richmond, I really knew that I wanted to be a coach. And it was really a credit to the experience that I was having and how the staff coached us and the level of accountability. And, he specifically Coach Mooney, he just had a big influence on me. I just felt like, during that time, I was becoming a better player and loved the program, but also I felt like the coaching was kind of shaping who I was as a person, on and off the court and that stuff. And I felt like that was pretty powerful and that I wanted to go try to do that for others.
100%. And for you, how cool is it in being in this business when we have your players who go pro and or they have families, they text you on Father's Day and how they say, "Hey, coach, thank you for what you did for me." And how cool is that for you as a coach, knowing that you really impacted a young man's life and they really remember what you did for them?
Yeah, it's everything. And I think sometimes, you can get caught up in all the other stuff and trying to win. And obviously you're competing at such a high level, but it does get back to that. It's the relationships, how you can help guys, right? How you can help them grow as people and shape their attitudes and their perspective and how they think about things. It all, coaching and the experience that they have playing on a team, playing on a college basketball team, really impacts them. And it's an amazing thing and something that, we can't forget as we're trying to, as you're in the kind of the details of trying to build a program and competing and winning, you always have to remember why you're doing this and what really matters.
Let me ask one question about the championship game. I know you all were down late and stood the course and ended up winning that game. Talk about just the resolve of that team, man. You all have to fight through the whole year. Adversity coming and going, but you all made it through there and got that job done at the end. And it's all that hard work they put in all that time. It's a tough team like in Houston who plays hard all the time, and you all pulled it off and got that win and got the championship as you all celebrated down there and had that big win.
Yeah, no question. And we had to come from behind a few times in the NCAA tournament. And obviously, it helps to have, great players, which we did with, really across the board. But guys like Walter Clayton Jr., Will Richard, Elijah Martin, those guys, having those guys being old senior leadership and just a lot of belief that they're going to find a way to win the game, right? I think that's really important, especially when you're down. But it was just an amazing run. And, I think as a group, we were really tough. And, I felt like we had a good kind of underdog mentality, even though, we had such a great season and were, a number one seed and won all these games, the SEC championship. But I feel like we kind of kept that gritty mentality, specifically on the defensive end, which is really what helped us pull the game out in the national championship game, as you said, against a program like Houston that's really the toughest. I've said it before, but I think them and Tennessee are the two toughest programs in college basketball. And, I think in that game, we were really struggling to score. We couldn't really figure it out offensively, and we had to dig in and get some stops. And that's what really got us back in the game. So, it's just a testament to being a championship team, of being able to find different ways to win. And, most nights we were pretty good on both ends. But in that game, for sure, our defense and toughness got it done.
And Kevin, which is I said so apropos, because you tell us this all the time. Defense can be every night. Shots may not always go, but defense can travel. And your team was the epitome of defense traveling and turning the game around and getting you back into it.
No question. And we knew that was going to be probably the biggest key for us having a great season at Florida. Really when the moment we stepped on campus last summer, when we got the group together, a little over a year ago, we really kind of made a commitment to the defensive end. And I think the guys really took ownership of that. Those three seniors that I mentioned, they really pushed us each day, and we just knew how important it was going to be, because we felt like we were obviously extremely talented and we would be able to score the ball most nights, but raising the bar defensively and becoming an elite defensive team was what made us, able to make the run that we did.
100%, Kevin. I know you're going to make sure Columbia's elite defensively as well, so we'll be cheering for you, and I hope to see you when I come to New York for the U.S. Open, man. I hope to talk to you in March as well when you win the Opportunity Tournament as well.
I love it. Thanks so much, Bossman. Really appreciate you having me on.
Thank you. It was fun, brother.
All right. Thanks, man.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
What's up, family? Jared the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Let the King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to the Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.